Welcome to Geeks Corner. I'm Mr. Daps.
I'm Caitie.
And we're excited that you're here tonight for the last episode before St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, I thought you were about to say Geeks Corner's canceled.
No, we would never.
That was scary.
That would not happen.
Geeks Corner's not getting canceled.
No, it's going to go on forever.
We go down with the ship.
Forever. Yes, that is true. Hopefully that is great. Caitie, what should people do?
You should go to geekscorner.live and you can go in the chat. I have a very important thing to talk about tonight, and that is that the Senate...
St. Patrick's Day.
No, that the Senate has passed the sunshine bill or whatever it's called. Save Sunshine.
You are my sunshine bill?
It's called like Save Sunshine or something. They are electing to keep daylight saving time year round. So daylight saving time is what we are currently in. Standard time is what is from November to
keep the current
March. So keep the current one.
I like this.
Some people are saying that we should be keeping standard time and not daylight saving time.
Some people.
I am not some people. I think that we should 100% be keeping daylight saving time.
I like daylight saving time.
So that would mean that we would still change our clocks back.
We would?
This November. If it passes through the House and Biden signs it, it'll still pass through. And President Biden. My bad.
Honor the office, Caitie. Honor the office.
Honor Michael Scott. Got it. So we would still change our clocks back in November. We would change our clocks back again in spring of 2023, but then we would never change them ever again.
I like this. Clocky has a good point too, is we should be aware of the Ides of Geeks Corner Plus or of March.
Thankfully, there are no daggers on set.
What's that?
Nothing.
The batleth?
That would be a very interesting telling of the Ides of March if there was a batleth involved.
Well, it'd be the Klingon version, which interestingly enough, they just cast a new Captain Kirk. We weren't going to talk about this tonight because the article's not written, but there is a new Captain Kirk.
A third Captain Kirk.
That's true. Well, only the second, though, in the prime timeline.
That's true. This isn't a Kelvin timeline. This is a prime timeline.
Exactly. But they're making a new Kelvin timeline movie, so things are getting confusing. But that's okay.
So is Star Wars.
I'm excited though because St. Patrick's Day is just a couple days away, so we are wearing green to celebrate.
Oh, is that why?
I'm wearing this Kermit the Frog tie that Angela made.
Aww.
So very cool. Thank you.
It's not
Angela.
Easy being green.
It is not easy being green. Just ask Kermit. But before we get into all of that stuff, Captain Thirk for the third. Oh, that's great. No, we don't have a lightsaber on the Geeks Corner set.
We don't.
No.
Oh, mine's at home.
Yep. That's true. There has been one once in a while, but there is not one currently. As I'm looking around, I'm like, what is in here?
You don't even know what's on the set.
All right, let's get right into the Week in Geek. And first off, Disneyland is now enforcing its no-show policy for Magic Keyholders that they didn't tell us they weren't.
I was going to say, which is so funny because we thought they were already enforcing it.
I'm sure there are some people that already reached their 3 and they're like, nothing happened. But I don't know. What do you think about this? They're enforcing it.
I don't
laying down the law. The rules are being.
So I have a couple feelings about the no-show policy and a lot of things in general. Mr. Daps does need to build a Savi's lightsaber. The thing that concerns me about the no-show policy is like, say you wake up on the day of your reservation and you are very ill. That's going to count against, well, I'm saying some people like myself are too afraid to even have one hit on their
I think that's fair.
Magic
I wouldn't
key.
Want one either.
And so if you wake up feeling ill, you can't cancel your reservation the same day. It's not my favorite thing in the whole world. But I do think that this is going to stop people from just hoarding reservations. Like, oh, I'm going to have one Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then they only show up on Thursday and Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's good. I just think there are some flaws.
I think that's why there's 3, though.
Yeah, I think so, too.
I mean, for those of us that don't want to break the rules at all, it seems very hard. But I think it's also a reasonable thing. Like 2, definitely not enough. 3, Maybe 4 would be better. I don't know, but I feel like 3 in 3 months is probably fair, and I'm sure at some point they're like, well, 1 per month is probably safe. No?
Yeah, I guess.
Like, where do you pick?
I
Because
don't
if you go
know.
4 for 3 months, then it kind of feels like off balance to me.
Well,
Even though I like the number 4 better, but
what about the number 5? Stay true to Geeks
I
Corner.
like 5 even better. I'm just thinking of like the logic of where you would go with this.
No, I just thinking as somebody who literally just recovered from COVID, my symptoms came on very, very suddenly, and I'm thankful that we didn't have a Disneyland reservation that day because I would not have been able to go.
Mhm.
So
All
I
right.
don't know, but like you said,
Let us know what you think in the comments. 3 reasonable? Should it be more? Should it be less? Should there be any? Like it
I
could
mean,
be.
this is also you're now gonna also along with this gets into the should we still have reservations debate,
Which we're not getting into tonight.
we're not gonna get into,
Because
but
it's St. Patrick's Day week and it's a lucky week.
but maybe if we talked about reservations,
I don't think they're going anywhere.
okay. I was like, maybe we'd get lucky.
There's been way too many
I'm
interviews
aware.
where they've been very clear that we like
No,
them
Bob
as
Chapek
a
loves
Disney.
reservations. Josh Tomorrow loves reservations, and there's definitely a business aspect to it of
Mhm.
you know who's coming and when.
Yep.
But I'm saying it does go hand in hand with this discussion.
It does. Another discussion that we are going to have is Turning Red is now on Disney Plus, so we're going to talk about that without spoilers, right?
Yeah, no spoilers.
We didn't really talk about it, but there's also a wonderful documentary that is about the making of Turning Red that I highly suggest watching as well. Let's start with the movie. What did you think?
I loved it. I thought it was really great. I don't know where I would rank it in my Pixar ranking.
I'm having a hard time with that too because it's so different.
100%. And I think actually the last 4 Pixar movies have been very different from what you consider classic Pixar. With the last 4 being Onward, Soul, Luca, and now Turning Red.
Mhm.
I think they're all very different storytelling wise, very different animation style.
From each other and from others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing. And they even said that in the documentary of the making, is that they're trying to create a new Pixar, basically. Like they're trying to break the expectations and the molds of
Which you kind of have to do because if you stick with the same,
yeah,
at some point it becomes stagnant.
100%.
Anyway, keep going.
I really, really loved Turning Red. So I think it's great. I think that if you haven't watched it, go give it some love. And I have other thoughts, but that's like about the documentary stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was surprised how much I enjoyed it in a different way than I was expecting because I was already really like I've just thought the panda thing is hilarious. But then
Red pandas are precious.
they are, and just like the photos they've put out and
Yeah.
the emotions shown in the photos, I was already like, oh, this is going to be funny at some level and fun. And I actually thought it was great because it did what it's weird to me because I think there's actually a lot of parallels between it and Luca. I mean, they're both coming of age stories. They're
Mhm.
both trying to like. I kind of think it's the how do you honor your family without not honoring yourself also
Mhm.
like and you don't those don't have to be mutually exclusive like you can still honor your family and also honor your dreams and I think both of those are about kind of like going through that process as you're growing up, which I think is really an interesting thing because um, they're so completely different in the way they tell stories,
Mhm.
in the context and all of that stuff, and who's in them. I really thought it did a nice job of building from the beginning to the end, where the beginning is kind of lighthearted,
Mhm.
and then as it grows and grows and grows, the emotional journey grows and grows and grows, which I think makes for a very solid movie. I didn't look at my watch once, which is also very good.
It's a good sign for him.
That's a very good sign for me. And I thought the characters and the relationships between the characters also were really solid, believable, and humorous. Like
Mhm.
it didn't get too heavy on itself, which it could have. Like it could have gone a very different path, and there's so many different types of paths it could take. And then I just like the animation style too, where um, it was it was beautiful, but it was also whimsical,
Mhm.
and then it also had a little bit of I guess it was anime, but it also reminded me of like go back to the 60s and like some of those TV shows, like even there were elements of it I'm like, oh, this kind of reminds me of Batman, like there was that classic comic feel to it as well that I really liked. And so 2 thumbs up. I really liked it. Definitely check it if you haven't seen it. I also thought it absolutely fascinating that the score for this movie is the same guy who scored The Mandalorian, who scored Black Panther, and they don't sound anything alike.
No.
Like
He's also produced for Childish Gambino, which I found out today.
Okay.
He's so musically talented.
Yeah, and I kind of felt like you were starting to figure out like, oh, this is his thing with Black Panther and Mandalorian, because there's some crossovers that you could be like, oh, okay, I think I'm figuring out what his sound is, like where it's coming from and how he writes. But then you listen to this, and it was so completely different, and I was just like, oh, this is. I mean, there is some connective tissues there, but I was really impressed with the score, and the songs were fun.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah,
I also think that Billie Eilish and her brother Phineas did a great job writing the songs for Four Town.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about.
Oh, yeah. So those were written by Billie Eilish and her brother. Okay.
That was my aside. And the songs are fun. Like,
I thought you meant anyway. They did a great job writing for a very believable 90s, early 2000s era boy band.
Which I honestly thought that was going to play bigger in the movie.
So did I.
Like that one kind of surprised me a little bit. Like they were definitely important and prominent, but not to the level that I was expecting. Let's talk about the trailer, the documentary.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I love it. Most specifically, I love that they focus on the fact that it is an all-female leadership team, which is the first time that has happened in Pixar history. Is that it is an all-female leadership team. And I love that they focused on their individual stories and their journeys being a teenager, and also their journeys being like creating their own families.
Or, the mothers.
And also I just love Domishi.
I love the culture she created that was so building every person up. Like I feel like most of these making of are great. And they're like, oh, this is a really talented, director of photography, whatever. And you get that nice like building each other up. But like this was genuine, like this is why you're really good. Like they were specific attributes of people, and it was saying it to their face and hearing their genuine reactions. And I thought that was really telling for why you get the movie you get, because you get the support you get, not just professionally, but interpersonally as well. And I thought that showed really nice in the documentary.
Every time there was two people sitting on that same couch with the little bow pillow, you knew they were going to just say something so nice about each other. Like specifically thinking about like Domi and Rona. And she's like, no, you're so incredibly talented.
That's the one I was thinking of.
I also really loved the producer who's been with Pixar since A Bug's Life. And she said that it had been a long time since she worked with the first time director, but the fun of it was that Domi would question her on things and say, why do we do things that way? And she says, no one's questioned me on that in 10 plus years. And I had just gotten complacent with things.
I also thought it was amazing, her house.
I
was just like, oh, that's a house. Like it looked like this is totally nothing to do with the documentary, but literally like there's a couple scenes where like she's with her kids or they're cooking or
I liked
eating
the
dinner.
cat.
And I was just like, this house looks like something out of a movie, but she actually lives there.
Well, and it's also nuts. Like every time they did a house shot, I would always go, oh my God, this is the Bay Area.
And
like, it's a nice house.
Apparently they pay really well at Pixar, I guess.
Pixar is a really great and inclusive company that lends itself to people being able to make a career there, which I think is really nice. But I just loved the importance of women telling a story about young girls and like finding who they are.
Story.
But they also like they're putting emphasis on this is a story that all young girls have been through, but also it's a story that everyone has been through, and it's a very
in one way or another
relatable. I mean, I turned into a magical red panda when I was 13.
Cool.
I don't know. No, but
I thought it was blue, but
I think it was great. And then I gave it up, which is why my hair is not blue anymore.
Oh, there we go. See?
But no, I think it's super wonderful, and I was so pleased watching that documentary.
But definitely watch the documentary, and if you haven't, I would say watch the movie, watch the documentary, watch the movie again. And I feel like that's the way I feel about most bonus features, and it makes me hopeful for more. I'm hoping there's more bonus features whenever they release this on home video, whatever that is now, home entertainment.
I don't know.
Just because I feel like there's so many more stories to be told about the making of, whether it's creating a character that's specific or the music or the band. Like, I think there's a lot of fun things to be explored in the backstory of Turning Red. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. I think it's solid. I think the only thing wrong with this movie is the fact that we couldn't go down to the local theater and watch it.
I wish. El Capitan is just too far for us.
And I saw an interview this morning, and I'm trying to remember where I read it. And I really should have double checked this before opening my mouth. But Domi Shi was talking about how hard it was to get this through the Disney executives because they didn't necessarily, like, this isn't their story. And so she's like, I had to go into a room of old white guys and pitch this story that they don't really connect with, which I get to an extent, but a good creative is going to be like, okay. And I actually think, that's to the credit of Bob Iger, is he recognized he wasn't as open to things, and that's why he moved on. So I definitely hat tip to him. But I started, you start thinking about that, and it makes this movie even more impressive. But then I started having like the secondary thought of like, oh, is that why it's not in theater? And I hope that's not the answer. Like, I hope it was legitimately, we want to get this to as many people as possible. Disney Plus, we can go to, what is it, 100 and something million now? And
most people haven't watched Encanto 5 times on Disney Plus.
Yeah, and that is a good like when you think about it. But I just kind of wish it was the dual thing, because this is one I really would have liked to have seen on the big screen.
100%. And I will not drive to Hollywood.
Frankly, I was sitting in a hotel with a movie theater across the hall, or not across the hall, across the street on Thursday night, which is when it would have released. Would have been perfect. And there was nothing good in that theater. I actually thought about it.
I will say, just a minor side note, you can tell Disney was very excited about this release because there's merchandise everywhere.
Yeah, it's screaming for merchandise.
Yes.
Like,
so
I almost want the red panda.
Go into Disney parks. You can even go into Target. My friend Frankie.
There's a really cute mug on Shop Disney.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah.
My friend Frankie was showing me a picture yesterday. He got it almost looks like kind of like the hamburger bag style from Tokyo. But it is Mei as a panda. And then when you open it up, there's a blanket inside. And the print is cute. So cute. I almost wish that there was like a bag, kind of like the hamburger bag style, where you could just have it as a little backpack.
Cute.
So they can be precious. But anyway, that's that on that.
All right. 2 thumbs up for Turning Red. Make sure to see it more than once. Moving right along, later this spring, we're getting more Star Wars. And that comes in the form of Obi-Wan Kenobi, which the trailer was released since we last met. And I thought it was awesome. Not just the music, because John Williams, anytime you get to hear John Williams music, is amazing. But I loved for a show that I wasn't sure that needed to be made, it looks like it's a show that is actually going to be interesting and of value. And I'm curious to see how much it connects with, original series, prequels, because it sounds like it looks like for sure it'll connect to both of those. But then also, what is it going to do to connect with the cartoons? What is it? I guess animated shows. They're not really cartoons anymore, are they? They're cartoons.
The animated series.
Yeah. But anyway, this trailer is very fascinating just because of the different elements it pulls together. And to me, the most interesting part of this trailer, and then I'll let you talk, is Uncle Owen. Because Uncle Owen, we've always thought, is this old grumpy farmer.
It's a moisture farmer.
Or a young grumpy farmer. And it sure looks like he's going on an adventure with Obi-Wan Kenobi, which might be why he's so anti-Jedi.
That would make sense. Hope.
Like, because there's always kind of been a disconnect to me from the end of Revenge of the Sith, where he gets Luke from Obi-Wan, and there's not really a huge, there's no reason for them to dislike all of that. And then, there's kind of a reason, but it's not elaborated well enough. And then you get to A New Hope, and he's pretty anti Jedi. And so I'm wondering if we're going to discover that this is a front that he's putting up in A New Hope, which is very possible. looking at this trailer, or if he genuinely comes to dislike the Jedi. Because I love the idea that he becomes part of the protection of Luke Skywalker, and we get to see how involved he really was and how he's a hero in his own right, which makes their deaths in A New Hope that much more
tragic.
Yeah, and also mean more. So it'll be very interesting. Clocky said it has a tough timeline canon to adhere to. Yeah, there's a lot going on, both in the live action stuff we've already known. I mean, you really want to get dig crazy on this. You have to navigate through Clone Wars, Rebels, Revenge of the Sith, and all of the prequels. Don't forget Solo. Oh, and then you've got Rogue One coming up, and the prequel to Rogue One, which is going to be a series also on Disney Plus, followed by original series, and then the sequels. Your turn.
I liked that they used Duel of the Fates. No, so this was a very in-depth discussion that we were having before the show after we watched the trailer. Because I watched the trailer
we will flat out say we don't have enough time to get through the whole thing, but we'll do our best.
There
will be Geeks Corner Plus.
There will be Geeks Corner Plus tonight. That's our first time back in doing a proper show in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So
like, what, 2? No, it is
3.
3, yeah.
Because the Dapsies were 2 weeks ago.
When it was an improper show last week.
Well, I said we.
Yeah.
Me.
I know, but I was just being funny.
Any hoozle. I watched the trailer on the shareholders call. I was very sick in bed. So I was like, maybe I didn't like it because I was sick in bed. And we rewatched it again now. And I still don't care for it. And the reason is everything you just said of, you have to take into account all of it. It feels like I have to take prerequisites to watch Obi-Wan. And I don't want to do that. Like,
well, and hopefully, like, to me, if that's what you like, let's say you watch this and you feel like, oh, I should have done the homework, then they failed in the storytelling.
That's true.
Because if you think of, like, I really think that's something that's been successful with most of the Skywalker movies, is you can step into any one of them, whether it's A New Hope, Force Awakens, Revenge of the Sith, and within a couple minutes, you kind of have a general idea what's going on. And really, like, you can have all of these backstories and sidelines and everything, but the movie stands by itself. Like Force Awakens, without even knowing what's going on, you know what's going on. And they did a nice job. Same with A New Hope. Like, they're standalone movies that tell a solid story. Empire Strikes Back.
And that's the reason that season 1 of The Mandalorian is perfect Star Wars to me. It tells a new story. It's very fun. It's very exciting. I always say, The Mandalorian season 1 is my favorite piece of Star Wars canon.
It's great.
Period.
Yeah.
Season 2, they 100% started hitting you over the head with things that if you have not watched everything, you don't understand.
Yep. I agree.
So yeah, that's kind of where I'm coming from, is I have not watched either of the animated series. I have tried. I just couldn't get into them. But it's just starting to feel very overwhelming to be a Star Wars fan.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
But I also think that shows a failure in storytelling if that's what it ends up being. And that would be a bummer. And it'll be interesting because Deborah Cho is the one behind this. She's the director, and she was at the beginning of The Mandalorian, which could be good things. But you just don't know. Like, there's a lot more history and depth and weight, I think is actually a better word, when you get into anything Skywalker related. And Obi-Wan is like on the side of that. So I think there is a lot of risk that they have as they're going into this. And I heard rumors that they're already discussing the possibility of season 2, which I don't know what to think yet. Like, I'm very intrigued by it.
I will say, most importantly, I love Luke Skywalker going vroom vroom.
Yeah, that was cute.
I want him to go to Tashi Station and pick up some power converters. You
know what I don't want him to do?
Go to Tashi Station and pick up some power converters. I would like
converters.
That. Okay.
I don't want him, like, when they're showing that thing of him going vroom vroom on the whatever that is. I don't want them to zoom in and him to yell over to Uncle Owen, "Now that's pod racing."
Oh, I want that so bad. I didn't even know I wanted that.
It'd be pretty funny.
Now that's pod racing.
Because then it'd be like connecting to his dad.
So my favorite thing, and
yeah.
I know I've told the story on Geeks Corner before, but I'm gonna tell it again because I find it hilarious. I went through a phase where I couldn't stop saying, "Now that's pod racing" to everything, anything that happened.
Now
I
it
would
might
say,
happen again.
"Now that's pod racing." You just triggered something in my head. It might. All that to say, I went through this phase for like 3 weeks. We go on Star Tours. We get the pod racing scene. Mr. Dapp slowly turns to me and goes, "This is your fault." Anyway, that's one of my favorite. It's just really funny.
Uh-huh.
Now that's pod racing.
That is pod racing.
That is pod racing.
All right, let's move right along. We got another trailer this week, and that's actually today for Miss Marvel. And
Yay!
I will admit, I love everything I've seen about this.
Yeah, same.
Like, I love the comic beginning of it with the
speech bubbles and the...
Yes, thank you. And I love the fact that it seems like they're leaning into... It's kind of like any comic book fan dream come true, where they get to become the heroes that they read about.
Yeah.
And it seems like that's what they're leaning into, and it's kind of the underdog becoming underdog. If you've seen that cartoon way back in the day, you haven't, but that was before I was born too.
They made another underdog.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I didn't see that one either.
It didn't look good. Yeah, it's kind of really fun. We should find that one and put it on the Geeks Corner playlist. It's a hilarious song.
Tell us what songs you should think should be on the Geeks Corner playlist.
Yes, geeky songs. Let us know. Yeah, I'm really intrigued by it. I'm curious. Like, they haven't really. It's the first trailer, so there's not really any like, hey, this is the bad guy, or this is the. Like, this is where it's going, but it looks like fun.
I think it looks so fun. I love that they lean a lot into Kamala's culture.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really important. I also love that she's just a teenage girl. Like, I think that's so awesome.
It was interesting too, seeing this right after seeing Turning Red.
Yeah.
And almost feeling like, wait a minute, I feel like I kind of just saw this. Like,
but
it's not a bad thing.
No. I was gonna say, because how many times have we watched stories of young men that are like, in the same position?
Yeah.
So I think that we're in this new renaissance, you could almost call it, of women-led stories. And it's maybe time for men to realize that they can also relate to these stories, just because they are not the centerpiece of it.
Together.
That scene where she's sitting on the lamppost feels so Spider-Man, specifically No Way Home, or not No Way Home, Homecoming.
Yeah.
When he's like the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Don't you think the two of them would be hilarious together?
Oh, 100%. Like, because they would,
especially for where he's at in his life now. Like,
yes,
I feel like so many, it probably won't happen, but at least not anytime soon. But I'm like, oh, that would be so fun.
Because she kind of has that Civil War Peter Parker energy.
Yeah.
Like when he's like, you know that really old movie, Empire Strikes Back? And then Ant-Man says, I'm sorry, what did he say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think they both kind of are very relatable and approachable.
Yeah.
And so I think it'll be a fun series. I don't remember how many episodes there are, but
probably 6, knowing Marvel.
Yeah. Other fun, exciting things going on in the world of entertainment is we found out that, Holey Moley, the Muppets are going to mini golf.
That's good. You should be proud of that one.
Did you see my title?
I did.
Okay, I was proud of that too.
Yeah, I was gonna say you should be proud of that.
I didn't quite hit my title there, but you know. But that is right. The Holey Moley mini golf commentary show will have the Muppets in this season.
I love that.
Is only 3 episodes long.
That's fine. What Muppets do you want to see specifically covering mini golf?
Kermit and Gonzo.
I was gonna say I need Gonzo.
Well, I actually want more. I want Kermit, Gonzo, Miss Piggy, Fozzie, Scooter helping out.
You just want to name every Muppet right now.
Probably.
He's about to name. He's gonna set Big Bird's there for some reason.
I kind of feel like Beaker and Dr. Bunsen Honeydew need to be there, just because something bad.
Beaker needs to get hurt. No, like, let's say dreamcasting this. I think Gonzo is a perfect choice. I also
he could be like on the sidelines.
Yeah,
because they have a sideline reporter, and I've watched like one episode of this, and it was like. I wanted to like it more than I did. Like, it's kind of hard to watch, but I think part of it is because I think of like how much better we could do. Well, because they're kind of leaning into the National Dog Show thing, like, and they're trying to make it funny, but they know they're trying to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like sometimes it's better for just putting people who aren't funny and actually take it seriously and just go.
Mhm.
And I think that would be funnier. But
I also think Rizzo would be a great choice. Also Pepe.
I bet Pepe will.
I'm sure Pepe will be there.
Mhm.
Uncle Deadly would be a fun
Uncle
choice.
Deadly would be funny.
Very funny, Bailey, speaking of Uncle Dudley specifically, in the second to last episode of this season's Below the Frame, Stephanie DeBruzzo interviews Matt Vogel on his own podcast. And he talks about Uncle Deadly, and he says something so funny of Uncle Deadly can be the straight man, and he can also be the comic relief, depending on who he's in a scene with.
Yep.
And he's like, if I'm with Piggy, like I am the straight man. But like it was such a fascinating thing. And Bailey, I thought of you because Uncle Deadly makes me think of you. Fozzie would be a very good commentator.
By the way, we're in Geeks Corner Plus now.
Welcome
as of a minute ago.
Welcome to Geeks Corner Plus.
Another one that could be really funny is Statler and Waldorf, because you don't even need anybody else. You could just have them.
It's true.
Commenting on the whole thing. And that I think would be amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I don't want Waldo Seagraphic there.
Why not? I mean, he might be as obnoxious as the golf show.
Maybe if he's the golf ball.
Yeah, you don't know. Yeah, I'm very curious to see how this plays out. And it was kind of nebulous on what exactly they're in. So I don't know if they're in all 3 episodes, or is it like 1 episode and hopefully it's the first one. Like, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
I'm just always excited with more Muppet stuff.
I agree completely. All right, our final topic of the night is St. Patrick's Day in just a couple of days. And what does that mean, Caitie?
It means food.
It means green corn dogs.
It's disgusting. Get that away from me.
This is what you can get on St. Patrick's Day at the Disneyland Resort. Would you eat it?
Do you want my honest answer?
I would.
Yeah, I'd eat it.
I don't know.
It's just a corn dog, but it's dyed green. That's it.
I just have to wonder how much dye do they have to put in that thing to make it green?
Oh, you will regret it within 12 hours. I guarantee you that. You will regret eating that much food dye. It's just the look of it is so icky. Like, and then like I dip my corn dogs in ketchup, so like adding that to the mix.
Mustard would actually be better in some ways.
That's disgusting.
So then here's my question.
What's your question?
You have some Irish in you.
Like 95%
Yeah.
is some Irish, yeah.
What is your favorite Irish dish?
My favorite Irish dish?
Mm-hmm.
I do love a shepherd's pie type of
that is hard to
type
make.
of deal. Yeah. I don't like corned beef and cabbage.
Which technically is borderline not Irish.
It's actually
it's an Irish American thing.
It's Irish adopted.
Yeah.
When we immigrated to America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will be having corned beef and cabbage on
my
Thursday.
My grandfather on my mom's side, which funny enough is not where any of my Irish comes from. It's where my Polish comes from. But he loved corned beef and cabbage. And I
like it the one time a year, and I love the corned beef sandwiches afterwards even
That's fair.
better. Like I think that's just one of the best things on the planet. And then I also love watching Darby O'Gill and the Little People.
I've never seen it.
That's what you do is you come home from work, you put on Darby O'Gill and the Little People, you start cooking your corned beef and cabbage, you know, whether you're doing it in pressure cooker or slow cooker or whatever. You can boil it, I guess. Instant pot.
I'm off on Thursday.
You could do that too. And then you watch Darby O'Gill and the Little People, and you smell the corned beef and cabbage, and then you're good to go. Right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Green beer.
And green beer.
Better than a green corn dog.
Yeah, by far. That's
I don't know. It's so visually upsetting.
I think it's hilarious.
And like I know it's upsetting for me to look at. I know like
and then the question is, does it actually look like this?
Oh no.
Like
absolutely not.
Because I'm betting, like, is that really a hot dog and the corn around it?
No. I almost guarantee you it's going to look a much paler green.
Or browner. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I still might eat it. Like, don't get me wrong. I still may do it.
Are you gonna go in? You could do a vlog
by myself?
Yeah, it could be like a 5-minute vlog, and all it is you eating. That would be great. If you want Caitie to get a reservation for Disneyland and go eat a green corn dog.
Disney California
Comments.
Adventure Park, but it's at Corndog Castle.
Oh, I thought I saw it was at the Red Truck too.
I wrote the article. I only
okay.
remember it being at Corndog Castle. I could be wrong,
No,
but
well, that makes it even easier. It's easier to get them at Corndog Castle.
Anyway, if you want me to do that, let me know.
See, if I'd have been smart, I should have done a whistling ukulele for tonight of the lovely Irish girl. Maybe if I have time, I will try to do one for Thursday.
Maybe.
For St. Patrick's Day. All right. Caitie, we're running out of time. What should people do?
Go to appsmagic.com. Check out all the Disney and geek news as it happens. Find out where all of the other St. Patrick's Day food is besides the green corn dog, because there's better stuff being offered this weekend.
Parks.
In all the domestic parks, there's so many better offerings than a green corn dog. I promise you.
Maybe.
And subscribe to our mailing list so you don't miss anything.
And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got a ton of videos that we're continuing to post, including a lot of Fat Cat Swinger, which is playing at the Disneyland Resort in Disney California Adventure for the Food and Wine Festival on Sunday and Monday nights, basically from 4 o'clock till 8:45 on both nights. And you won't want to miss them if you get the chance to go check them out. Otherwise, check out our videos. We also have some other stuff going up on a daily basis as well. But that is all the time we have for you this week. So we will see you around the corner.
Bye.